You're about to die. You don't know that yet. You're standing at the edge of a forest. 70,000 years ago, the sun is going down. You have no words, not a single one. You don't know the word danger. You don't know the word run. You don't know the word help, but something is coming through those trees. And somehow, impossibly, your group already knows. Nobody spoke. Nobody pointed. Nobody made a sound. But every single person behind you is already moving. How? Here's what most people assume. Before language, humans were quiet, grunting, gesturing, stumbling through life like walking question marks, half animal, half lost. Here is what the evidence actually shows. They weren't quiet at all. They were communicating in ways so sophisticated, so layered, so deeply wired into the human body that you are still doing it right now without realizing it. Every time you walk into a room and immediately sense that something is wrong. Every time you look at a stranger across the street and feel, without knowing why, that they are safe. Every time a child reaches for their mother without crying first. That is the ancient system, still running underneath all the words. Language didn't replace that system. It was built on top of it. And the story of how it was built is the most important story in human history. Nobody ever told it to you like this. Imagine this, somewhere in what is now France. 36,000 years ago, a man crawls on his stomach through a narrow passage in the rock. He is carrying something, a torch made from animal fat and twisted fiber. He has been crawling for 20 minutes. The ceiling is low. It is cold. It smells like earth and old water. He reaches a chamber. He stands up. And on the walls around him, painted in red ochre and black charcoal, are animals. Horses, bison, a rhinoceros, a cave lion. They are not crude. They are not clumsy. They are extraordinary. The muscles are drawn with precision. The hooves are mid-stride. The eyes look alive. He adds something to the wall, a handprint, his own. Then he crawls back out into the dark. This is the Chauvet Cave in France. The paintings are real and they are 36,000 years old. Now think about what this man was doing. He was sending a message to someone he would never meet. He had no words, no writing, no alphabet, but he had something else. He had the human need to say, I was here, this is what I saw, remember this. That need, that burning, ancient, unstoppable need, is where all human communication begins. Before any painting, before any symbol, before any gesture, there was the body. Your face alone can produce over 10,000 distinct expressions. Most of them happen in under a quarter of a second. And the people looking at you read every single one. Not consciously, not deliberately. Automatically. Here is something remarkable about that. A study involving 6 isolated communities across the world, groups with no shared culture, no shared language, no contact with the outside world, showed the same result. Anger looks the same everywhere. Fear looks the same. Disgust, surprise, joy. These expressions are not learned. They are installed. A child born blind who has never seen a human face still smiles when she is happy, still furrows her brow when she is confused. The body was the first language, and it never needed to be taught, but expressions alone could only carry so much. You can show fear on your face, but you cannot show direction. You cannot show distance. You cannot show tomorrow. For that, your ancestors needed something more. Watch a child before they can speak. They point, they reach, they push away, they pull toward. Long before their first word, they are already communicating with extraordinary precision. A 12-month-old child points at something across the room, not to get it, but to share it. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? You should see what I'm seeing. That simple, unremarkable act. It is one of the most uniquely human things that exists. Chimpanzees, our closest relatives on Earth, almost never point to share, only to demand. But human children point to connect. That difference is everything. Because pointing is not just a gesture. Pointing is the beginning of shared attention. And shared attention is the foundation of all communication. When two people look at the same thing at the same time, and both know the other is looking, something happens between them. A bridge forms, and on that bridge meaning can travel. Your ancestors built entire worlds on that bridge. They used it to coordinate hunts, to warn of danger, to plan, to teach, all without a single word. But the body and the gesture still left gaps. What about the dark? What about distance? What about warning someone on the other side of a hill? This is where sound came in. Rhythm. Before any formal music, before any organized song, there is drumming, percussion on hollow logs, clapping, stomping, rhythmic breath, and something happens when humans sync to a shared rhythm. The brain releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical. Heart rates begin to align. People who move in synchrony with each other feel significantly more connected, more trusting, more willing to cooperate. Your ancestors used rhythm the same way generals later used battle cries and armies later used marching bands to fuse a group of separate individuals into a single coordinated unit. To say, without Without words, we are together. We move as one. That drumbeat in the dark was not entertainment, it was infrastructure. Now, here's the moment that changes everything. Something happened between 100,000 and 50,000 years ago. A cognitive leap so dramatic it changed the entire trajectory of our species. Cave paintings appeared, jewelry, burial rituals, long-distance trade, and then language. Not all at once, not on a single day. But piece by piece, the system assembled itself. The gesture came first, the emotional sound came next, then came the symbol, and finally the word. The moment a sound was attached permanently to a meaning, not just a cry of fear, but a specific sound that meant lion, not just a reaching hand, but a specific sound that meant water is over that hill. That moment, that first deliberate, repeatable, transferable symbol, is the most important invention in human history. More important than the wheel. More important than fire, because it allowed something that had never existed before. The ability to share the inside of your mind with someone else. To say, here's what I know, here is what I fear, here is what I remember. Take it, it's yours now too. That was the gift. Go back to that forest. 70,000 years ago, you're standing at the edge, the sun is going down, something is coming through the trees, and nobody needed to speak, because they already knew. They knew from a micro-expression that flashed across someone's face in less than a second. They knew from a slight tensing of posture, a held breath, eyes that stopped blinking. They knew because 70,000 years of evolution had made them experts in reading each other. That system, that wordless, ancient, automatic system is still inside you. You use it every single day. You walk into a meeting and read the room before anyone speaks. You look at someone you love and know something is wrong before they say a word. You feel the energy of a crowd shift before you can explain why. That is not instinct. That is not magic. That is your ancestors, speaking to you through you. Language gave us civilization, but what came before language gave us each other. And in the end, that came first. Hit that like and subscribe button for more such videos.